Great movie. Congratulations on all of the awards and praise it's gotten. And now, not to name drop again, but I'm going to drop a name here. 4-time Academy Award nominee. You've known him from so many great movies. And if you haven't seen Kodachrome, one he did this year, it's on Netflix. Check it out. He's so great in it. He did Appaloosa, which he directed and co-starred with Viggo, as well as History of Violence. Please welcome Ed Harris.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. I don't speak extemporaneously nearly as well as Viggo, so I'm going to read something. Just prior to working with, is that like reverberating back there? This is okay, like right here, okay? Okay. Just prior to working with Viggo on A History of Violence, I had optioned a book, Appaloosa by Robert Parker. I had brought the book with me on a riding trip in Ireland with my wife and daughter, and I opened it up one afternoon in this rustic inn we were staying at, and I fell in love with these two main characters by the second chapter. I called my agent, I said, find out if this book's available, I want to option it. Two lawmen, Virgil Cole and Everett Hitch. Anyhow, after I got to know Viggo a bit, and I had a chance to work with him, I told him about this book, and I asked him if he'd take a read, and he did. Then I asked him if I wrote a good screenplay of this story, would he consider playing Everett Hitch with me playing Virgil Cole? And Viggo said he would. Consider it, that is. So I wrote the screenplay with my buddy, Robert Knott. I got it to a point where we felt good about it. I gave it to Viggo, and he kind of liked it. I asked him if he would play Everett with me playing Cole and directing. He said he would. And I asked him, really? Because I need you to say you're committed to it so I can get this thing financed. And he said, yes, I'll do it. Well, so a year or so later, we'd gotten the money together. We were planning to film in the spring, I think it was, of '07, I believe, but there was a scheduling problem of some kind, so filming was postponed. And meanwhile, I mean, Viggo was filming what seemed like film after film. I mean, he was working his ass off. And when I told him late that summer that we were set to go in the fall, he told me he'd been working really hard, he'd be busy, really right up to a day or two before we would start filming, and that if I could find another actor, he sure would appreciate it. But that if I couldn't find the right guy, that he would do it. So I told him, you know, I said, okay, I'll do my best. No, seriously, I compiled a list of about 20 guys, none of whom I was that excited about. 16 of them were busy. 2 of them I met with, and they said no. And the other 2, I didn't feel like they could really do the role justice. So I called Viggo, and I said, sorry, but I haven't been able to find anyone. And he said, okay, I'll be there. So 2 days before we started principal photography, Viggo shows up in New Mexico. He's ready to go. He'd done research on the period. He'd given really great thought to his character. He had detailed ideas about his wardrobe and his props. He was in excellent shape and in good spirits, and subsequently played Everett Hitch to perfection. The point being, Viggo Mortensen is a man of his word. I don't think you can pay someone a much higher tribute. You really got to check out Far From Men, okay? Filmed in French and a bit of Arabic. How'd you say the Jauja one?
How?
Hauha in Danish. Or Everybody Has a Plan, an Alatriste, John in Spanish. Viggo's facility with languages is remarkable. His horsemanship is beyond reproach. His emotional range is unlimited. His athleticism is obvious. His respect for fellow cast and crew is inspiring. And his work ethic is off the charts. If he was just a little better looking, I mean, he'd have it. He's a consummate pro, an incredibly talented actor, one hell of a human being, and my friend. It is an honor and a privilege to present the American Riviera Award to Viggo Mortensen.
He's shy. It was the last thing he said, friend. That was the biggest thing to me. And for him to come and do this, to come up here, especially with the weather today, and I don't think Ed does this very often for people. So it was wonderful that he came up here. And I have to say, in Appaloosa, that connection with him between those two characters. The way he directed it was great, and the way he put that movie together. But just playing opposite him, he's such a truthful actor that every moment, every blink, everything, it was just a pleasure acting-wise, you know. Talk about reacting, it was just back and forth. It was just a really great game together. And I did remember the name of the author, Zora Neale Hurston, great writer, African-American writer from the first half of the 20th century, and she had vanished. And at the time, it wasn't just the literary establishment in general that had kind of poo-pooed her work because it was kind of strange and it was different, challenging. Had it been a man, they might have thought, wow, cool. But it was a woman, and a woman who was different than other women. And but it was the black, you know, the Harlem writers, you know, the African-American men who, it was a man-woman thing, really, in a way, not letting her succeed. And so she was buried. She was forgotten almost until the 90s when Alice Walker and then others kind of revived her reputation. So why I wanted to bring her up is because Green Book, in a sense, does that for Don Shirley. Revives his reputation, allows people that never would have heard of him, millions of people maybe eventually, to appreciate his music and get to know about him as an artist. Anyway, thank you, Pete Hammond, for a really fun conversation. I could have gone on for a long time. It's nice to be challenged. It's nice to talk to someone who knows a lot about movies and has, you know, good questions. And it just felt fun to sit there. I know there's a lot of people sitting there, but I just felt like I was sitting with you in the living room talking about movies, and that was nice, and I felt that way towards you guys too. I like it. I like a conversation rather than sound bites. And, you know, to be able to get recognition from all of you, from the Santa Barbara Film Festival, but also from Pete Hammond and Ed Harris. Again, sue me if I complain, ever. Thank you so much.